Well, hello there, my dear children of the apocalypse. How are you doing today? Welcome back to the 52 weeks of self-improvement, and welcome to the following 2 weeks, which are going to be painted in this very polarizing storytelling. Today we're having a look at the law of attraction, and next week we'll talk about the Munchausen syndrome. I hope I pronounced that correctly. It is a very unbeknownst fact to me, but I've written it down into my list of potential video topics, and I found it to be a very interesting one, for which, as of course, I do have a real-life experience, which we can have a look at and sort of analyze. How do we put this to the test? How do we framework the idea that there's a law of attraction where if we desire something strongly enough, it will actually come to us, it will actually come to fruition? Isn't that just wishful thinking? Isn't that the equivalent of just sitting and waiting for, it to occur? I think the baseline is that everything has to come from a mental point of origin, meaning we have to really desire something before we can come into possession of it. And because of doing so, I think this attracts to so many different areas. Perhaps this is related to a woman, perhaps this is related to monetary gain, perhaps this is a job that you desire. You're starting to get the feeling of the theme here. The idea of the law of attraction is that we want to attract things that we have desire for. Now, there are a lot of ways I could go about explaining the law of attraction. None other there are several clips and shorts from other content creators, influencers, motivational speakers, but I think one of the most simplest ways to explain it is through the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Very early on here, on page 21, he creates a very, very intricate verse, a short poem, which I'm going to now read to you because I think it makes all the sense in the world. And it's all that you need to take yourself to that next step. If you think you're beaten, you are. If you think you dare not, you don't. If you like to win, but think you can't, it is almost certain you won't. If you think you'll lose, you're lost. For out of the world we find, success begins with a fellow's will. It's all in the state of mind. If you think you're outclassed, you are. You've got to think high to rise. You've got to be sure of yourself before you can ever win the prize. Life's battles don't always go to the strongest man or the faster man. But soon or late, the man who wins is the man who thinks he can. I think it's wonderful, and when I read these words, even though it's just a couple of lines on a piece of paper, it fills me with this energy and desire. And also the author does constantly state that desire is the baseline for our accomplishments, for our achievements, for our progressive sort of mission that we're on. The idea of the law of attraction is that we almost visualize that which we desire. If you want to get $10,000, then you want to envision yourself in possession of those $10,000. If you really want to get together with a beautiful woman, then you want to envision yourself having a life with that woman. By doing so, you're also removing that slight doubt that might creep in, because you will ask yourself, is this really what I want? Is this really the life I want to lead? Are these really the goals and quests and achievements that I want to partake on? By going forward in time, envisioning your future, closing your eyes and seeing yourself with this object or subject of desire, then it allows for you to sort of filter through if this really is something that will make you more whole, if it will make you happier, if it will make you more fulfilled, if this is the step towards the next step. Now, I don't know why, but when I think about the law of attraction, just the word attraction, I instantly think about fishing, because fishing is about attracting fish to a particular area where you are trying to fish, and then you have a hook and you have a bait. And it depends, of course, what you're trying to do with the fish. Are you going to let the fish go? Are you going to, wait for a bigger one to come? Is this something that you need for desperate dinner because you're on a deserted island? The point being is that attraction comes to us from the universe, from very different variable sources. If you're religious, then you will leave it to the faith, the decision, the choice of God. If this is let's say a relationship, a woman, then you will very likely leave it also to the decision of the other party involved. If this is your employer, if this is, your family, There are obviously huge sums of energy that are at play, and it's impossible to just say that if you just close your eyes and envision yourself driving a Bugatti that that's going to happen. But I do believe that if you do so, again, you're removing the doubt that that is actually something you want to do. And number two, you're really putting yourself into a position where you are channeling energy, you're channeling thought process into what it will take to get there. If I want to be the best athlete in a particular sport, then I will immediately see, okay, there are these sacrifices that have to be made. These are going to be activities I can no longer partake in. These are actions I'm going to have to start doing on a daily basis. Here's the diet I'll have to do. And immediately, your mind's going to go into a state of, fight or flight. Is this something I want to do, or is this something I want to run away from? Ultimately, the law of attraction is just that. It's a law. And if we look at the word at its core, it means that it's irrefutable. It's there. It won't go away. We can't change it. And so it's best to just learn to live with it. The way that I've approached it personally is to put myself again in positions that will favor the outcome that I'm trying to get. So if I'm trying to get a monetary value, then I will put myself in positions where I can get that monetary value as easily and as effectively as possible. If I'm trying to find love, then I'll try to put myself in positions where that will be of a higher chance of fruition. The law of attraction really works both ways. If you think about Newton and his laws, he does state that both sides need some type of attraction. Magnets work the same way. There has to be this mutuality that goes on. It cannot be all your effort, and it also cannot all be the universe's effort. But I think with the right amount of push and pull, this intergalactic relationship of success, failure, happiness, and misery is a very wonderful way to go about life. And we'll talk all about the flip side, the negatives, the bad mentality, the wrath of the void which we can spiral into, the depressions and anxieties and sickness in next week's episode. Thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Take care and safe flying.